There's always one mistake that beginner hikers make, and it often leaves them either too hot and sweaty or too wet and cold. And this one mistake is that they're actually just wearing the wrong clothes. I know you're probably thinking you should wear your biggest, thickest coat to stay warm, but it's pretty much the opposite of what you should be doing. You should be wearing a thin, breathable coat. I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive, but it's because it's going to be paired with multiple other layers. Okay, so the basics here are that if you get wet, you're going to get cold, right? So that includes not just the elements, but also sweating. So you need to properly regulate your body temperature. If you just wear one big thick jacket, you're not going to be able to do that properly. You're going to get too cold potentially on your hike up the mountain. So you're going to put on that heavy jacket. It's too heavy and you're going to start sweating. And what happens when you're sweating is there's additional moisture on your skin. The whole point of sweating is that it pulls the heat away from your skin and evaporates, which is fine if it's a warm day. Generally speaking, the higher you go up, the colder it's going to be and the more windy it's going to be. So if you're already wet from your hike on the way up because you were a sweaty Betty, you're going to get pretty cold by the time you get there and you've already put on your layer. So there's a little system that we use called the layer system. Like I said, you're going to wear multiple thinner layers that are more breathable. I know that sounds super complicated, but there's actually only 3 of them. And the first one is your base layer. Literally, this t-shirt that I'm wearing right now, you can get long sleeve ones also. The style and material that you choose will pretty much be dictated by the activity and the weather. You can get them in merino wool or synthetic. Merino wool is really good for low intensity activities or very cold weather, while synthetic is better suited for like high intensity activities where you're going to be sweating a lot or very hot weather. And that's pretty much because merino wool does keep you very warm even when it's wet, but synthetic dries really, really quickly. So if you're going to be sweating a lot, like if you're trail running or if it's a really, really hot day, you want something that's going to dry out super quick. So your second layer is your mid layer, and it basically is your insulation layer. So the whole point of this is it actually works the same way as a sleeping bag, is that if you wear like multiple layers, it'll basically trap the air in between the layers and then your body heats that air and it keeps you nice and toasty. This is your insulation layer, and it can be something as simple as this, like a fleece, or it could be like a puffy jacket, like a down jacket or a synthetic jacket, depending on which you want. And again, which one you want is going to depend on like the activity you're doing or how warm it is. So for instance, like I've worn this the whole way up on my hike because yeah, the sun is shining, but it's only like 12 degrees, and as you can probably hear, it's super, super windy. I would have been too cold if I had just had my t-shirt, because I'm also wearing shorts. But now that I'm at the top, which is just over my shoulder over there, I'm gonna put on my puffy layer, because like I said, once you get to the top, it gets a little bit colder and a little bit windier. Some people will split this into like 2 different categories, like a fleece is one and then the jacket is the other, but they basically do the same thing anyway. And there's loads of different kinds. Like I said, you could have a fleece, you could have a gilet kind of type one, like a sleeveless down jacket. It could be synthetic, it could be down. Mine's synthetic just because it's cheaper. They also fold up really, really small and like squish them up. Fleece is a really good material for this actually, because it has a very good weight to warmth ratio in that it's very, very thin, lightweight material, but it keeps you super, super warm. And the other thing that it does is, like I said, it's right next to my base layer, which is next to my skin, and the whole point of it is that it will pull moisture from this base layer onto this fleece layer and out and away from my body, so it doesn't sap me of my warmth basically. It's called moisture wicking. Like I said, they're super small, super compact. You can pack them in your bag as like an extra layer, and the same goes for that down or synthetic, so really, really worth bringing a couple extra if you feel like you might need them. This is my summit snack today. It's porcini mushroom risotto from Farpot, and that is my view while I have it. Okay, while I wait for my risotto to cook, I'm gonna head down here a little bit away from the summit, so hopefully it's not quite as windy, and tell you all about the last layer. And that's your outer layer, very aptly named, and it kind of does what it says on the tin. It is designed to shelter you from the elements basically, so it's windproof and it should be waterproof. If it's cold but dry, or if your activity is very intense, you could get away with just a soft shell layer, And the point is that it's very lightweight, but it's also very breathable, which will stop you from getting all hot and sweaty. But obviously it's not going to be waterproof. Or if it is very windy or wet, you can have a waterproof outer layer. Again, I would try to get the most breathable one as possible. And if it is your first time buying a waterproof jacket, keep an eye out because I'm going to have a video out soon that will go through all the basics and everything you need to know before you spend a whole lot of money on a waterproof layer. But yeah, I mean, that layer kind of does what it says on the tin. Like I said, it's waterproof and it's windproof. Looks just like pure mush, but let's try it. Okay, so that is another hike done. And those are the basics of the layer system. And if you need a hand packing your bag for a hike this summer, check out the video I did on the 10 hiking essentials. And happy hiking, August, so full.